If you want to listen to all of the episodes of this series right now, early release and ad-free, plus a whole host of extra fan club benefits, head to museumofpopculture.supportingcast.fm. Or if that's too much of a mouthful, just click on it in the show notes, which is the description bit that no one reads. Hello and welcome. I am Josh Widdicombe. For today, I'm the curator of a place of incredible artefacts and exhibitions, a place that stores the greatest thing on earth. This is my Museum of Pop Culture. As a self-confessed pop culture obsessive, I love the geniuses, the scam artists, and dare I say it, the absolute madmen that have made the records, shows and films that we love. In each series, I will tell you a story of unlikely triumph and usually an enjoyably crushing failure, featuring celebrated stars that in any other industry would probably be politely sacked. It's a show for people more interested in David Hasselhoff than David Lammy, Elizabeth Taylor than Queen Elizabeth I, which, let's be honest, is all of us. Joining me today to discuss Britain's greatest inventor, Sir Clive Sinclair, and the failed creation that defined, unfairly in my opinion, his legacy, the C5 electric car, is comedian, friend, and man who one day may buy a Sinclair C5, because he hasn't got a driving licence. It's Tom Craine.
Pick up a penguin. It's a pleasure to be able to say to you, welcome to Channel 4.
I'm a secret lemonade drinker. Starlights.
Prince Charles moved slowly down the aisle, and the cheers of the crowd filtered in as Lady Diana arrived.
The winner is Chariots of Fire.
Jane Torville and Christopher Dean received their gold medals.
Argentina says Britain has sunk its cruiser. The Defence Secretary says Britain's got a right to invade the Falklands.
Britain in the early 1980s, a nation caught between decline and invention.
Socialists don't like people to do things for themselves. Socialists like to get people dependent on the state.
The reason I'm on the march is obviously we're very concerned about unemployment because our jobs are constantly under threat.
Industry is fading, unemployment is rising, but inside cramped bedrooms and tiny workshops, a new tech revolution is just beginning.
This is the ZX Spectrum, a small, very cheap computer that's found its way into more homes in Britain than any other.
And at the centre of it all is one man, Clive Sinclair.
My object is to find people's real needs, to develop products which are of real benefit to people in whatever way.
He was the man who made a fortune on the pocket calculator and put computers into millions of homes with the ZX Spectrum.
And the new Sinclair Spectrum Plus 2 with free joystick and software. Currys, no one beats our prices, guaranteed.
To some, he was Britain's own Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. To others, he was just an eccentric dreamer whose reach exceeded his grasp. And in 1985, he revealed his ambitious vision of the future.
Imagine a vehicle that can drive you 5 miles for a penny. A vehicle that needs no petrol, just a battery.
The Sinclair C5, a tiny electric car built for cities of tomorrow. Cheap, clean, revolutionary.
Is it a car or a toy? Well, the short answer to that is it's neither. This is an electrically assisted pedal tricycle. That's the official description of Sinclair's C5.
But sadly, Britain wasn't ready for this vision, and Sinclair's promise of an electric-powered future became a national joke. Within months, the dream collapsed, a company was ruined, millions were lost, and the man who once helped shape the landscape of the future became the symbol of Britain's most famous failure.
As far as I can see, there's nothing the C5 can do that a bicycle couldn't do more economically, more flexibly, and indeed more safely.
But 40 years later, with cities choking on traffic and the world racing towards electric vehicles, was he that wrong? Or, like many pioneers before him, was Sir Clive Sinclair simply ahead of his time? This is a story of Britain's greatest inventor and the ambition that destroyed his empire. This is Clive Sinclair and the C5. Tom Craine.
Hello.
I was going to make a kind of glib comment about you being some kind of weird British eccentric and getting you in to talk about Sir Clive Sinclair, but it feels cheap. What do you think?
Go with it if you feel
No, that's it. I've kind of had my cake and eaten it there, haven't I?
What would be cruel if you made your comment and then just asked me to leave? So I was simply there as a device to get into the show.
Are you aware of Clive Sinclair? Sorry, that sounded like you were on Newsnight and...
You've had this up your sleeve.
I felt very Emily Maitlis there.
You produce a black and white photo of me out for dinner with Clive Sinclair. It seems like you are aware of Clive Sinclair. Intimately aware. I'm aware of the... well, this is not a spoiler, is it?
No.
The C5.
So we're here to talk about the Sinclair C5, but the Sinclair C5 is one of, the greatest disasters in product launch in history.
Brilliant.
That won't surprise anyone.
Yeah.
But the reason for it, I think, is the greater context of the point at which Sir Clive Sinclair was in his career.
Okay.
Very much a kind of Icarus flying too close to the sun mode. But do you know what I mean?
Driving very slowly too close to the sun.
Driving very slowly without a seatbelt. And so this is the story of a true brilliant...
Yes.
British eccentric who has been, and your response of I'm aware of the C5, who has been remembered not for his successes but for his biggest failure.
And is there anything more British than that?
Is there anything more British than that? And I suppose it's, in many ways, when any of us do anything creative, our greatest fear is not just that it will fail, but that it will come to define us.
Because people and the press love that. Absolutely.
This will be the one thing that everyone thinks of when they see our name. And sadly, this is that story.
Absolutely.
But maybe in telling that story, we can slightly reclaim Sir Clive Sinclair as a genius.
Absolutely. So, as I say, I'm aware of this product. But the thing I'm so aware is it's such a sort of a British thing.
Yeah.
The fact that this thing existed in this country at that time feels perfectly encapsulates that moment, sort of inventive, hope and all this sort of stuff.
Exactly.
New technology.
It's a huge kind of symbol of the Thatcherite 80s.
Yes, exactly.
As was Sir Clive, which we'll come to. And it's also a symbol, the other things that are interesting is he falls in this huge context of people that were not like these huge corporations, but were just weird kind of eccentrics who, with the explosion of computing and technology, suddenly were at the forefront of these things. Also, on top of that, I don't think there's a better time. At the time of recording, I don't know whether things have changed, people are considering that the petrol car may be causing some environmental problems.
What? Why have I literally just bought one?
The electric car is getting stronger and stronger. So as you'll see, he's not, because we will look into the electric car, he's not one of the first people ever to invent an electric car, but he's one of the people that believed in it most and tried to do it when no one else wanted to.
Fantastic.
But I want to start with a question. Do you know what Hansard is?
Hansard? Is that a sort of antibacterial hand cleaner that became really popular during the pandemic?
So Hansard is, they write down everything that's ever said in the House of Parliament. And it's like kind of...
So like the minutes?
Yeah, it's like the minutes of the House of Parliament.
Okay.
So anything that's ever been said in the House of Parliament.
All the banter?
All the banter.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a story, I won't go into it. So if you said...
So is there someone in the corner writing that down?
I don't know where they're sat.
Okay, right. I'd like to know.
I don't.
It's important to visualise.
But yeah, so everything's in the minuted.
Yeah, okay.
And so if you say something in the House of Parliament, and obviously they've got privilege. Anyway, that's an aside.
Yes.
I want to take you back to the 1940s, a train carriage in Surrey, right? Dr. Lance Ware, who's a scientist who's doing law at Oxford, Roland Beryl, who is a Australian-born eccentric, which is a lovely thing to be known as.
Great. Yeah.
They're sitting in the carriage, and Lance is engrossed reading Hansard.
Okay. So these are the minutes of
the minutes
Parliament.
Of House of Parliament. That gives you an idea of these two people. And,
how is he reading this? Are we imagining that's on a really long parchment, or is it a book?
I don't know. I presume it comes out in a...
How do you get that?
Well, Roland asks Lance if he's reading Hansard, and Lance replies, obviously, pointing at the title.
So he's a twat.
He's a twat. Yeah. Well, if you think they're both twats, right, it's very similar to the conversations we have, because they then go on to discuss what intelligence is and how you assess it.
Also, how are you feeling as the person who's travelling with the person who's choosing to read the minutes of the Houses of Parliament?
They don't know each other.
Oh, right, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they were
So
mates and he's choosing not to speak to his friend. I'd love to talk to you, but I'm reading the minutes.
In a way, it's worse. They're two strangers on a train that have bonded over their discussion of Hansard.
Okay.
And then they discuss intelligence and what it is.
Right, yeah.
Roland says that he can work out intelligence just from observing someone. I think we all can, kind of. But Lance wants a scientific approach to intelligence tests. They get on so well the following year they meet up again. Lance asks Roland to take an intelligence test. What a couple of oddballs. Roland scores somewhere in the top 1%.
Nice.
They then form a club.
Oh.
For people with a high IQ.
Ah, is it the big one? No, it can't be. That'll be much before that. It's not.
No,
Mensa.
it is the big one.
Is it Mensa?
It's Mensa.
Really? Oh, wow. Okay.
So that was founded in October 1946. They found Mensa.
Wow. Okay.
So from the off, it's cool.
Yeah.
From the off, it's a place with cool dudes to meet.
It's quite an arrogant thing to do, isn't it? To start a club, and that club is because you're both in the top 1% of.
I can't believe anything worse than being Mensa. Luckily, it isn't an option I've got.
Is there an equivalent of
By the
Mensa
way,
for people who
before-
are sort of quite middling on the IQ scale that I could join?
Look, I'm into pop music and rock music and kind of mid-level literature.
Sapiens.
I've read Sapiens. I listen to The Guardian Football Weekly. So by the 60s,
amazing.
It goes international. By the 80s, there's 30,000 members in the States.
Wow.
And then it's a huge deal, Mensa. The youngest person ever to join Mensa in the UK. Want to have a go?
The youngest person ever.
It was Elise Tan Roberts.
I'm going to go with 8.
2 years, 4 months.
Too early. How? What's she doing?
She's cleverer than you. Already.
What's she doing?
You couldn't join now. She's joined at the age of 2. In Australia, 1/3 of the members are children.
You start reading of the Gruffalo. She goes, I bet it turns out the Gruffalo's real. I can see where this is. Just every kid's book is just ruined from the off.
Where's the magic, Elise? Where's the magic?
Wow, good on her.
So it's quite a big deal, Mensa. There's a good news story about a Swedish Mensa party that goes too large. Okay. So they have a conference for Mensa members in Sweden in 2017, and police are called because of a rowdy behaviour and a loud brawl at 6 a.m.
Because somebody's drunk one beer. That has gone straight to the head.
They broke into a locked conference room. Of course they did.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Great.
Got on the roof of the hotel. And the chairwoman, Monica Orski...
Spelt rude things on the abacus.
She described them as bloody idiots. You were disgraced and deserve no better than to be called bloody idiots.
Yeah.
Rarely have I been so ashamed of Mensa Sweden. You know Fern Britton from this morning?
Yeah.
Her divorce was prompted by her taking a Mensa test.
Really?
According to her, on a different podcast that we won't mention.
Okay.
Walking the Dog with Emily Dean. It's a very good podcast, actually. I've just gone back on it. She says she did a Mensa test. She was with her ex-husband, Clive Jones, at the time. He had this degree and I didn't. I secretly went off and did a Mensa test. I lied and said I was going somewhere else. Took a day to do the test. I passed, and quite well too. Then he was furious, so he did it because he got a huge brain, but he's not a problem solver and he didn't get it.
Wow.
So an immense rift opened.
Wow.
So there you go.
So why did they? So they split up because he was insecure about the fact that she was in Mensa. Wow.
Celebrities in
Ego.
Mensa. Carol Vorderman, obviously.
Absolutely. I imagine so.
Gina Davis, the actor from Thelma and Louise.
Okay. Yeah.
Steve Martin.
Cool.
This is my favourite. Major Charles...
This is now starting to sound like quite a fun party, actually, now.
Oh,
This is
yeah?
good. You've talked about conference rooms in Sweden. Now this is getting quite exciting.
Major Charles Ingram. Do you know who that is?
He's the guy who listened to the coughs on Who Wants
Yeah,
to Be a Millionaire.
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire cheater. And he wore his Mensa badge every day to court.
Did he?
Yeah, as if to go, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm in Mensa.
Yeah.
How am I being accused of cheating? And our friend Sir Clive Sinclair, who I see as the ultimate kind of symbol of Mensa.
Yeah.
He is what you would imagine a very intelligent, weird kind of eccentric.
I think you've got the sort of brain that could do quite well in a MENSA test. You're very logical.
Quite boring. Quite weird.
Monumentally boring. Exactly.
You read Hansard?
Yeah, exactly. I can imagine you're a really boring party in Sweden.
Well, the good news is, Tom, before episode 4, both of us are taking a MENSA test and I'll be delivering the results live on the show.
And you'll be humiliating me live on the show.
Just to say, if you could join MENSA, would you?
First of all, it's not going to. I don't think it's ever an issue. It's going to confront me.
We have to say that we've got to give the self-effacing precursor that
If I could join MENSA, would I? Yes, but I think because I'd find it funny that I'm in MENSA. I'm not wearing my pin badge around and showing off that I'm in MENSA. It's just a funny thing to bring up with mates, isn't it?
Well, Sir Clive says, if the press gives the impression that MENSA is eccentric, that is because it is.
Okay.
And he also, there is reports of him disco dancing at the MENSA social with, in quotes, with the vigour of a prawn plugged into the mains.
I imagine there's some very bad dancing at the MENSA social.
Yeah.
There's not much rhythm.
No.
They can divide, a billion by pi or whatever. But they can't catch the rhythm when they're playing
exactly.
Saturday Night Fever or whatever.
No, Niall Rodgers isn't in MENSA.
Exactly.
And I mean that as a compliment. He also, Sir Clive, he has been accused of arriving at one of the MENSA conventions dressed as an armadillo.
What?
And this is my favourite phrase in the world.
Surely people know you did or you didn't.
A charge he categorically denies.
Before storming off with his scaly tail still in sight. But people surely know.
Emily Maitlis, one time with Clive Sinclair. I've got pictures of you here. On the way to Sweden with an armadillo suit. Why did you have the armadillo suit?
But surely it would be definitively, sort of, people would know or not know if you turn up at a party dressed as an armadillo.
He's saying he definitively didn't.
Okay. Refused to remove
Are you saying there's no smoke without fire when it comes to being accused of dressing as an armadillo?
Exactly.
But imagine how it feels to be him and that accusation. You're like, this is totally baseless and so difficult to argue against. If you were to spread that rumour about someone, it's such an easy way to kind of bring them down because they
yeah.
It's so outlandish. Why would I have made that up? People will be saying. And he's going, well, I don't know.
Yeah. It's a suggestion that he at no point removed the head of the armadillo, so there's no proof at any point that he was
it could have been
inside
anyone.
It.
I don't know.
What we're thinking? Like the Masked Singer, basically. Yeah. There's a guess you'd never get on the Masked Singer. Someone yelling out Clive Sinclair. Is it Clive Sinclair?
Yeah.
Is he Mr. Bubblegum or whatever?
So let's go into Clive, because he is an interesting guy.
Yeah.
He says, do I wish I was like Bill Gates? Absolutely not at all. And what you'll find is Clive is not a businessman. He is an inventor.
Okay.
So there's two types of people in that world. So there's people that want to make money out of it.
Yeah.
And enjoy the thrill of making money. And there's people that are just in it for the inventing.
Great.
So he is...
Well, immediately I warm to that.
He's the purist.
Yeah,
he's
great.
Wallace
and Gromit style.
What Daniel Kitson is to comedy.
Yeah.
What kind of Neil Young would like to think he is to music, but then he goes back on it and he does do Glastonbury and he does add himself back to Spotify.
But I like that.
He genuinely just loves inventing. So this is a quote from back in the day, A, when he was still alive, and B, when he was when the phone book existed. He still had his name and number in director inquiries. And DIY inventors are always using it. They ring Clive up with their own inventions and he's just rather sweet with them down the phone. So he'd just have his number in the phone book.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You really wouldn't get that now, would you, with the sort of the leading...
No.
Like, let's say Elon Musk or whatever.
No, exactly. I suppose you could tweet him.
Yeah, you could tweet him.
I suppose Clive Sinclair, although we will come to his views on the internet later, he wasn't a big embracer of the internet. He basically says this about an idea, and this probably holds true. You'll see it fall both sides in the coming episodes. If an idea is good enough, it's going to appear pretty crazy to almost everybody. Either you do it yourself or it ain't going to happen. A brilliant idea and a terrible idea is paper thin.
You chose to sell your products then through mail order. Why did you choose that method of marketing?
The original reason was that it gave us a low-cost entry to the marketplace. The reason that we've maintained it is that we've found that it's the ideal way to introduce a radical product. It's very hard to sell a really new type of product through the shops. The public aren't aware of its existence, the shops don't know if it'll sell. So if you start off with mail order, it both informs the public of its existence, gets you some early orders, and the shops can learn that the product does have a market.
In 2011, he went on Celebrity Mastermind. He chose British inventions.
Yeah.
He got 4 points.
Right. How many do people normally get? Like 12, 13?
I got 11 on Blur.
Okay, great. 4. Fine. Yeah. But he got 15 on armadillos, which just sort of lay further weight. I love this guy. I'm already warming to this guy.
You're already warming to him?
Yeah.
Okay, so he was born...
I'm excited.
He was born during the Second World War. Clive Sinclair. He was born in London. His family moved around a lot, partly due to the war.
Yeah.
As a child, he's one of those kids that preferred adults.
I have a son like that.
Yeah, the other son.
Yes.
2 geniuses.
Yeah.
He's from quite a weird family. Well, not weird, unconventional, let's call it that. It's too late. No, if he's dead, his parents are going to be dead. Basically, they speak very directly, very frankly, and very argumentatively.
His parents do, is this?
The whole family, as a matter
okay.
of course.
Oh, really? Oh.
Clive is well behind it. He says you get more out of people by disagreeing with them. I'd find that a living hell.
Sounds exhausting.
Yeah, it sounds awful.
No matter what they say.
Yeah.
Like a parlour game.
Yeah. At the age of 6, he decides he wants to be an inventor.
But isn't that true of all 6-year-olds?
Yeah, I know. That's kind of a coincidence.
I either want to be an inventor, a firefighter, or a footballer. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Larry the Lamb is a TV show, and there's an inventor on it who makes things like paint that changes colour and stuff. And Clive sees that, and that's when he goes, that looks like the life for me.
Great.
So by the age of 10, he's made a radio wristwatch.
Wow.
A rocket from a bicycle pump.
Amazing.
And a one-man submarine out of a petrol tank he's got from a scrapyard.
A one-man submarine? I'm not trusting that.
No, I don't know whether he's...
Are we suggesting it's a working submarine?
I don't know whether it's a working submarine.
Or something he plays in. What is
yeah, because if he's
in
just getting in it and going, this is a submarine, that's not an invention.
Yeah.
I don't think...
He's not taking down to the Thames or whatever.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
If he's invented it, yeah, maybe. I don't know how big a petrol tank... In my head... A petrol tank's much bigger than I realised.
Well, it depends what it's from. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I suppose if it's a massive petrol tank.
Yeah.
So at the age of 10 also,
Amazing.
his schools move him on to the secondary phase of education because, in their words, we can't teach him any more maths. There are no more maths.
He's learned all the numbers.
He's learned all the maths. He's done maths at the age of 10.
I was the opposite in that. I was... in my GCSE, moved to a maths paper where it was only possible for me to get a C.
Yeah.
They
the foundation paper.
Yeah, the foundation paper. So I'm the opposite of Clive Sinclair.
I did that. I was in foundation French, and you're like,
yeah,
at least let's dream.
Yeah.
Give us the opportunity. What help is this?
Yeah.
Like,
what's French for dream, out of interest?
Yeah, exactly.
I got like 88% and then got a C.
Yeah, what's the point?
Yeah.
Give me a chance.
Well, it's damage limitation, isn't it? That's what it is. It's the idea. You've got to get, let's hope he'll get some kind of useful.
So is it easier to get a C in the foundation paper than in the top paper?
Yes.
But why? Shouldn't a C be a C?
You're right. I don't know. But I think you're far more likely to get a C in the foundation paper. Yeah. All I can say, it doesn't show a massive amount of faith on the part of our schools.
No. Ease of living a very different life to you.
Yeah.
So... basically,
can't teach him any more maths.
I know. So when he barely become a teenager,
yeah,
he invents this thing, a calculating machine, programmed with like punch cards, like with holes in, and to make adding up as simple as possible. And he does it with zeros and ones.
Okay.
And then he realises that he's accidentally invented binary, and he finds out it already exists. So he separately invented binary.
Amazing.
Not realising it existed.
Yeah.
He takes holiday jobs at electronics companies. Fun.
Great.
At one called Solitron, he inquires about the possibility of electric vehicles.
Does he? As a teenager?
Yeah. And they say, mate, don't do that. It will lead to your defining embarrassment.
And why you dress as an armadillo. This is not appropriate for work experience.
He applies for another one at a different place and they reject him for precociousness.
This is when he was working for Shell and Gazprom.
And then he rules out higher education because he doesn't think anyone could teach him anything more about electronics than he already knew.
Wow.
He said, I was just bored. I just wanted to teach myself.
Is that confidence? Is that arrogance? How are you feeling about that?
Well, it kind of is true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you can't kind of argue that that's...
Absolutely, I get that. If you surpass the curriculum, if you're way
well,
ahead
if you
of it,
also,
then it
I
makes no
think
sense
there's something with inventors that it can't... Oh, it's an awful phrase, isn't it? But you're thinking outside the box. You're trying to think of stuff that is not about being taught in an academic kind of...
Yeah.
So instead, he sells miniature electronics kits by mail order to the hobby market. And in 59, at the age of 19, he joins Mensa with an IQ of 159.
Wow.
And then at the age of 21, he sets up his first company, which is Sinclair Radionics, which is selling mail order kits. So this is the 60s. To give you an idea of the technology in the 60s, do you want to know any of the technology breakthroughs?
Yeah. Hit me.
The first instant replay on television.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's big for sport.
Exciting, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Bubble wrap.
Fun.
That was invented in the 60s.
Love it.
Would you have put that date on bubble wrap?
Yeah, I think that's about right. Yeah. Well, obviously, it's completely right.
The Etch-a-Sketch.
Interesting, I'd have gone earlier.
And the compact disc was invented in the 60s.
Really?
Yeah.
That feels far too early.
Well, it just took a while to get off the ground, I suppose.
Okay,
yeah. Okay.
Notoriously hard to pick off the ground. You have to slide it against the side and then sort of let it lift against the wall.
So 1 year later, he launched his first product.
Yeah.
Which is the Sinclair micro amplifier. And then in 1963, he launches a medium wave radio kit called Sinclair Slimline, which is the size of a matchbox.
Okay.
Sells for just under 50 shillings.
So as in to listen to the radio, as
Yeah.
in Radio 4, whatever it have to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also
Probably
music.
Radio 4 for him, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's not listening to Radio 1.
Okay.
So his profit margin on this, it's been alleged, was 700% markup.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good on him.
So he's doing all right.
Yeah,
and
fantastic.
then he goes all the way through the 60s. His first big hit is 1972. He invents the world's first pocket calculator.
Right. Okay.
So that was his big thing initially.
Well, that's huge. Well,
it wasn't.
But that's when he first came to Dragon's Den, they said, well, here's the twist. Actually.
That would have been a great slogan for it.
Yeah.
This is huge. And the executive launched 1972, September.
Yeah.
For $79.95 plus VAT.
This is a calculator, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's it called?
The executive.
Oh.
The equivalent today, the equivalent in today's money of 1,330 quid.
Wow.
For a pocket calculator, which is a lot.
But then you have to think about the fact that that's a real leap.
To give you an idea, that is
from the
half the
abacus,
price of comparable. It is a leap from the abacus.
Yeah. It is
Surely there's a... Was that the precursor?
I think it was. People had
the abacus.
The pocket abacus they had before that.
The pocket abacus, which looked awful if you were playing with the pocket abacus.
Is that an abacus in your pocket?
Yeah.
Or do I need to call the police?
So you had the abacus in ancient Greece.
Yeah.
And then you had...
To be fair to it, good innings.
Good innings. And then Sir Clive Sinclair came along. Thousands of years later. I went, here we go.
Releasing a product. The person who released the abacus in ancient Greece thinking, how long is this going to be around for?
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get 20 years out of this. Keep shifting it for 20 years. Thousands of years later, it's still there. But it is expensive, obviously, hugely. But we're looking at it now with our modern eyes. In fact, they're 10
So it's
a huge leap.
half the price of a comparable calculators.
Right, okay.
But twice the average weekly wage.
Yeah.
The question is, I don't want to say what your weekly wage is.
Mm-hmm.
Would you spend 2 weeks of your wages on a calculator?
Not now.
Not now.
Yeah.
He worked with a guy called Christopher Curry. All good names in the past, isn't it? And Christopher Curry said on seeing it work for the first time, it was magic. This was the closest thing to magic I've ever seen.
And then he turned it over and you won't believe what he'd spelt. I couldn't believe it. These Mensa guys know how to have fun.
This bit of chip sitting there and telling us the right result. We all came out and just looked with amazement. This thing doing calculations.
I completely get that.
I know, I totally. But it is incredible that this was in the 70s, which I don't see as that long ago.
No.
And people are having their minds blown by a calculator.
It is incredible technology. Like I think we've become sort of numb.
Totally.
To things that seem so simple but aren't.
How low
at all.
down on your favourite apps is the calculator on your iPhone?
Exactly. But
still use it.
All the work and invention that's gone into that seemingly simple thing to us is just incredible.
Of
In fact, you can
course.
add up anything, do any division, and immediately you have the answer, compared to what the options were previously for people.
Yeah.
It must be amazing.
Yeah.
It must have been incredible.
I still think when I was a kid in the 90s, the calculator was quite exciting.
Yes.
You were still like, why am I doing maths? Because we've now got this thing. It didn't feel
I remember getting, in secondary school, getting upgraded to the bigger calculators with all the buttons. I didn't really know what they did. There was a tick on there, but that was exciting, even though I had no idea.
The scientific calculator.
Yeah, that's the one, yeah.
Yeah.
A huge array of options that I had no idea how to use. But it was exciting even then.
It was exciting.
Absolutely.
So it's a huge hit.
Yeah.
The Sinclair Radionics, they make 1.8 million, which is about 20 million in today's.
Wow.
And then they exceed 2.5 million, which presumably is about 30 million, in 1974. So basically, it's the first calculator that couldn't be carried in your pocket.
Had to be those really baggy jeans that skaters wear, though, didn't it?
That's why they were
came in,
fashionable.
is it?
Yeah. That's why flares were so big in the 70s.
You never mentioned that in the Dragon's Den pitch, did you?
No, but like,
Have to
if
be
you look
used
at like footage of Noddy Holder in Slade, he gets out his calculator often. And after doing that song about Christmas, he gets out his calculator to work how much money he's going to make from it. This is how they decided what they wanted it size-wise. Sinclair executives told the Financial Times, one must always bear in mind. Do you know what item they said is the ideal size?
Because the 70s, I'm going to say something awful. I'm going to say cigarettes.
Correct. Packet of fags.
There you go.
Packet of cigarettes. Design magazine described it as at once a conversation piece, a rich man's plaything, and a functional business machine.
I know, we jest, but I do completely get why that must have been exciting.
Oh, totally. So there's a book about, it's quite dry. It doesn't take him with the wry look that we're taking him. But the author of the Sinclair story says, I remember travelling from Newcastle to London on the East Coast Main Line. An adjacent table in the dining car were a group of silks.
What are silks? I don't know what
They're people who work in the law. Lawyers, I think.
There we go.
One of them was extolling the virtues of his Sinclair executive, explaining that he'd been able to win a court case by his ability to perform rapid calculations time after time to the applause of the judge and the chagrin of his opponent.
Applause? There's no way that's true.
Also, what
if the judge is applauding, that is not professional.
What court case are you needing to make? I think you'll find that's 564. Thank you very much. That is fucking calculator.
Yeah. Not buying that at all. No way.
There was no doubt that this was at once a conversation piece, a rich man's plaything, and a functional business machine. There's one on the display in the Museum of Modern Art in New York City still to this day. Why is he not known for this?
Yeah.
He's invented the pocket calculator, and we know him for a fucking awful vehicle.
That's remarkable, isn't it?
It went massive in Japan. They sell it to Japan, and there's all these ideas to sell it in Japan. Department stores, boutiques, diners club, giveaways with car purchases, and even...
calculator shops.
That was a big one. And Dixon's.
Dixon's, yeah. Huge. Yeah.
In geisha houses...
Right.
How are you pronouncing Ginza? Ginza, I'm sure that's in Tokyo. In geisha houses in Tokyo, right? And the idea was that a geisha girl would produce an executive calculator from under her kimono,
right,
so that the host could add up his bill.
Really?
And then he would feel obliged.
Tradition meets modernity.
Yeah, tradition meets modernity. Lovely, isn't it? And then he'd feel obliged to buy it and present it to his guest.
To buy the calculator?
Yeah.
Wow.
Good that, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
So it is a big success. There are issues with it. It almost leads to a...
Can't do addition.
It hasn't got a 7.
But how often does a 7 come up on a bill?
Exactly, come on.
Really?
You have to say 8 minus 1.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Go around the houses, but you get there.
You get there.
What was the problem with it?
It almost starts a Cold War incident.
Why?
Because there's a Soviet diplomat who's the victim of an explosion in his pocket.
Oh. We've all been there.
The old honey trap, the old MI6 honey trap.
Yeah.
Basically, he thinks it's a British thing that's been done to him, but his Sinclair pocket calculator is heated up because the batteries only last a few hours, and if they are left on, they overheat and blow up. And the Soviet authorities conducted an investigation, and then they established that it's because he had a Sinclair executive in his pocket.
What, so they would blow up if you left them on for too long?
Yeah.
That does feel like an issue, doesn't it?
Yeah. So he's absolutely flying at this point. And in 1975, he follows it up with a thing called the Black Watch.
This is the newest way to tell the time. The Black Watch, developed in Britain by Sinclair. It's electronic, no moving parts. Digital, to tell you the time precisely. And quartz controlled, so you're sure that time is right. In fact, for a year, we'll replace your watch free if it doesn't keep time to a second a day. Look out for the Black Watch in today's papers or tomorrow's.
It's basically a digital watch that's got a dark screen that you press a button to bring it up on. It's basically a kind of cool digital watch with a control panel.
So did digital watches exist before this?
Do you know what, Craine? I don't know.
Okay.
Michael? So that's it. That's the Black Watch.
Oh, it's cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
I think that looks amazing. That's really... It's
we'll put it on our Instagram.
Knight Rider would
put it
read
on
or
our
something.
Instagram, yeah.
So what does it do?
Well, that's the problem, Craine.
Okay.
It has numerous design faults.
It looks awesome, though.
What does it do, you ask? Well, it has a chip that is damaged or destroyed by static electricity.
Okay. That's a problem for me.
The timing crystal is temperature sensitive, so it runs at different speeds in different seasons.
Time seems to pass, quicker during summer.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you're saying, like during winter, the clock will turn over slower, whatever happens.
I don't know whether it goes faster in summer or winter, but basically the heat would affect its speed.
Yeah, that's an issue.
The control panel's malfunctioned, the casing fell apart, and the batteries, and this is crucial on a watch, last 10 days and are difficult to replace.
But apart from everything being an issue, it's great.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked about this a great deal because we're close friends, but I have an issue with static electricity. So much so I had to go and speak to my doctor about it.
Yeah.
My feet shuffle, basically. And I charged myself up with static electricity. So that would be a real issue. So you would get static electric shocks
Also,
from
you go
the
at different
watch.
speeds in different seasons.
Exactly. So you get shocks from it?
No. If there was static, it would destroy or damage the watch. So you would put the watch on, and because you're a highly charged guy,
yes,
you would damage
Destroy
the watch.
it,
So if you got on an escalator, what are those situations? You know that
handrails
on a slide,
are really,
when your kid gets on a slide and their hair goes up.
AstroTurf.
AstroTurf,
is a big one.
yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know if that had been invented by that point.
Okay, so
we find out when AstroTurf was invented as well, please.
So I can
So
say,
when was the digital watch invented, Michael?
I think the earliest one was in 1972.
Oh, so this is at the start of digital watches. It's one of the first digital watches.
So the issues you've listed there mean that is not a viable product.
They mean that the company goes bankrupt.
Okay, well, and I hate to say it,
all
but
of the good.
They deserve to go bankrupt. Because
All of the good work on the pocket calculator, and this is a story that you'll come to again with Sir Clive, has been undone by the following product.
And I'm imagining him in his office working out how much he's lost on his executive calculator as well, typing in the number, going, that's how much I'm in debt now. That's amazing. What I'm fascinated by is how that watch has been released onto the market with those issues.
Yeah, I don't know. It's difficult, isn't it?
The fact that it runs out of batteries after 10 days and it's hard to replace the battery. How is it on the market? It's a brilliant idea. It looks really cool. It's obviously a fantastic step to have a digital watch, but how has it got to a point where you've released that to people and have they only tested it for 9 days? What's happened?
I don't know. I don't know. But it won't be the last time.
Oh, really? Okay.
That this happens.
There's a theme, is there? Okay.
Well, no, because he does so many good things and bad things. I don't know is the answer to that, I suppose. But basically, they go bankrupt off the back of this. He does launch a micro quartz car clock in 1977, which basically means that you can use the circuitry from the unsold watches. And so at least...
Okay.
Yeah, and that sells quite well. So that's good. But he opens a new company called Sinclair Research, which is basically a lifeboat company for that. And he sells, little tear for you here, he has to sell his house and his Rolls Royce to open his new company. So not his Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
And Christopher Curry, who we've discussed, is tasked with setting up. They're originally called Science of Cambridge, and then Sinclair joins him.
I'm fully expecting you to tell me, this isn't a joke, that Christopher Curry started Curry's, by the way.
He doesn't start Curry's.
Oh, right, okay. I assume that was going to be the technological link to this guy.
Well, this is weird, because he's a white man from the UK. He invents the curry.
Oh, does he? Wow. Well, he's done all right then.
Yeah, he's absolutely loaded.
Fine, okay, that's good. Big fan of that.
It's one of those classic things where, where you go, Actually, this will blow your mind, but the curry was invented by a scientist in Cambridge in the 80s.
You say you're going out for a Christopher, that's what you call it, isn't it?
So basically, they call it Science of Cambridge, and Cambridge becomes our Silicon Valley in the 80s.
Okay.
Because they get a lot of students from Cambridge University.
Yeah.
And they launch the Sinclair ZX80, which is a home computer.
There's still an element of that now. My cousin works out of Cambridge University. I remember 15 years ago, he invented, or was part of the team that invented, a laptop screen you can roll up, basically, and you can turn up. And that's now become this thing which is launching this year.
Which no one's ever heard of.
No, but it's basically you can expand your screen. You can roll out the screen to make it much bigger. So there still is...
At the time of recording, I don't have one, but
by the time
I want one. But at the time of recording, I want one.
But there still is an element of that Silicon Valley sort of, it's a base for ideas. Obviously. Yeah.
When you said Valley, because you used to live in Wales, you said it with a slightly Welsh lilt. And it made me... They should have done it in the valleys. Anyway, but they do refer to it as the Silicon Fen at one point, which is quite nice. Yeah. So the ZX80, this is the end of the 70s now, hence the name, right? So in 1979, the Financial Times predicts that personal computers will become steadily cheaper and their price could drop to £100 within 5 years. And Sinclair is like, no. I'm going to do this in a few months. So in January 1980 is launched an exhibition in Wembley, and it cost £99.95. And this is the thing he always does, £79 in kit form. So you can do a kind of IKEA style.
Yeah.
Get your kind of computer in a kit.
Yeah.
And it's the world's smallest and cheapest home computer.
Love it.
I
love this guy.
Yeah, he's great, isn't he? And he's named after the year.
Variety of things that he's putting out into the...
Well, 1980 is the year. Do you know why he chose ZX?
Roman... No, I don't know. I lost faith there.
It sounds cool and futuristic.
Is that what it is? I initially thought it was Roman numerals for 80s. But
it's just,
it's very quickly. It's not.
It's the ZX80. It's the future.
Okay.
And basically, they keep the prices very low. You use the TV to power this computer. You plug it into your TV, as with most computers when we were kids.
Yeah.
And that's kept the price low.
ZX80 is a complete computer, selling for just under £100, and it's supplied with a manual. It plugs straight into a conventional television, straight into the aerial socket. There's no modification of the set. And if you wish to record your programs, into a standard cassette recorder. And the great thing about the ZX80 is that although there were computers before that were available to individuals to buy, they cost several hundreds of pounds. We've brought it down to under £100 without any sacrifice. You can learn to program on it and subsequently use it perhaps in your job or at work.
And it sells 70,000. It does quite well, but it's not a big deal. And then, as with always with Sir Clive, we've had the up, and then we get... Well, it's not so much as the down, but this is a real hammer blow of him. So we've discussed Christopher Curry, and he was the sales manager at Sinclair Radionics. He basically begun by selling hi-fis, but he became like Sinclair's trusted lieutenant, like his right-hand man.
Okay.
And he does everything. He packs the boxes, but he deals with technical queries and even does repairs. But he's like the kind of sorter for Sir Clive.
Yeah.
And then they have a disagreement in 1978. Curry leaves him.
Right.
And goes and sets up with an Austrian entrepreneur called Hermann Hauser. And they create their own company, also based in Cambridge, called Acorn Computers.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So what do you know about Acorn Computers?
I don't know much about them. I'm aware of them, and I recognise the little logo.
Yeah. And do you know why they call themselves Acorn?
From an acorn, great things grow? I don't know. What is it?
That wouldn't be a bad guess. They wanted to appear before Apple in the business directory.
Oh, really? Great.
Yeah.
There's a comedy show in Edinburgh called the AAA Show.
Yeah.
I once did, which is a package show, which is only called the AAA Show, so it's the first thing in the Edinburgh Guide. Also, did he dress as an aardvark? Is that what it was? 2 A's.
No, it was an armadillo.
Still pretty high up. Yeah, absolutely. Picked to the post by aardvark.
He should have called his company Armadillo as a slam on Sir Clive.
Yeah.
So Curry sets up just down the road. This becomes like Silicon Fen. And they basically get caught in a computer war, but they're friends. They meet up in the Cambridge pubs. They go to the same pubs. Sinclair will pop into Curry's office for a chat.
Oh.
So they're kind of friends. And then a problem comes. The BBC come a-knocking. So the BBC have clocked that computing's a big deal.
Got their finger on the pulse, the BBC, haven't they, to be fair. They've always been good like that. You can see things happening.
Yeah.
I remember a BBC documentary about 2008 saying the internet was going to be big. Remember that? I realised at that point it is going to be big.
So this is when we know it's going to work. Because the parents are told in the early 80s, there's this kind of feeling that computers are the future.
Yeah.
Idiots. It's mad to look back and think people thought that, isn't it? But parents think that kids will be disadvantaged if they don't have a computer. And the BBC, sensing this, they basically... They decide they're going to do a show which shows people how to use computers, right?
Okay.
Great fun show. But also, along with this series of
early
programs,
80s, then?
Yeah, along with this series of programmes, they're going to launch their own computer and sell it.
The BBC are?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which feels slightly like...
Is that their area?
It doesn't quite feel like that's what we pay the licence fee for.
Absolutely.
And I love the BBC.
Yeah.
So they're going to sell a computer under the name the BBC to go along with, I suppose, with
British
their...
Broadcasting Computer.
The British Broadcasting Computer.
As it was known.
As it was known.
Yeah.
But Sinclair thinks that's slightly unfair.
I think that is. I think if a journalist or whatever has become interested in your story and then suddenly releases the same product you've been making, be a bit annoyed, wouldn't you?
He's not that annoyed because he's like, well, why don't you just rebrand our computer the BBC?
Oh, really? Okay.
So everyone in computing's like, well, this is annoying, but if you choose us to make it, we're on board.
Okay, yeah.
So the BBC decide to use a company in Newbury called New Brain, who've not built a computer.
Why? Why has that happened?
It's similar to, what was that thing with Chris Grayling where he got the company to, was it boats or something, and they'd never built a boat or whatever? Or
PPE
during the pandemic. Yeah, no one knows why. They've maybe done it before, but they've never. This machine doesn't exist, basically.
Okay.
So Sinclair writes to the BBC saying you're not going to be able to produce an amount of computers in the volume you need. He doesn't say you shouldn't be doing this. He says no one outside the USA except us, Sinclair, will be able to do this for you.
Absolutely. Look at the success we've had with the calculator that blows up and the the watch that loses time as you shift between seasons and can't deal with any static electricity. I'm your guy.
Yeah. Well, the BBC telephone him.
Okay.
And they ask for details. He says he's got the ZX81 on its way, coming up in 3 months' time. And so basically, the pressure from him does the trick. And the BBC announce that they're not going to go with Sir Clive, but they're going to put it out to tender.
Oh, okay.
For 12 British computer manufacturers, including Sinclair, to compete for it. And this is big because there's basically, obviously, you remember, TV is the monoculture. If you are the computer associated with the TV, then you're on a win.
Of course, yeah.
So they decide that they're going to put it out, and there's going to be a minimum of 12,000 units, computers. And to Sinclair's knowledge, no one except him outside the USA has ever done more than 1,000.
Okay.
So he's like, we're the only people that can do it. And who do they choose? Acorn.
Do they?
They choose Christopher Curry's Acorn. And we had a BBC computer in my school.
Yeah.
And we had an Acorn. So it became the standardised computer.
That's where I know it from.
Yeah, it became the standardised...
We had an Acorn computer in primary school, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I think that's where it is.
Because
that's where
it became the standard computer of primary schools.
Yes,
that you'd have a BBC Basic or an Acorn, which is kind of the different levels of model of it.
We had a weird thing where it was wired up to a little tortoise that you had to program to make it would walk around the room. It was like early sort of coding or understanding of how the computer could control a thing. That's the only memory I have of using this Acorn computer.
Well, that was a dagger to Sir Clive's heart. But that's absolutely knocked him. So basically, they choose the Acorn Atom, a machine that costs twice as much as the ZX80.
Right.
And with their backing, Acorn basically becomes an overnight success. And its annual turnover hits £90 million.
Wow.
Sinclair, understandably.
Yeah.
Livid stroke gutted.
Yeah.
And then Acorn released an advert which suggests that its computers are better than Sinclair's.
This is the new Acorn Electron. It's powerful, it's versatile, and it's only £199. But there's one feature that will make it particularly welcome in homes all over Britain. It speaks the same language as most schoolchildren, BBC Basic. The Electron. Now your children can teach you all they know.
This is the end for Sinclair, and he snaps. And he marches into the Baron of Beef pub in Cambridge.
Right.
And he sees Christopher Curry. And then there's two descriptions of this.
Is that where you go when you've got beef with someone? You go to the Baron of Beef.
And he sets about Christopher Curry with a rolled up newspaper.
No! I wasn't expecting that. Wow.
Whacking him across the head until Christopher Curry flees.
Yeah.
Curry flees to a nearby wine bar with Sinclair in pursuit. And Curry says, I was forced to retaliate with a right-hand blow. He was extremely aggressive and rude to me, and he was calling me names. I tried to placate him, but it was no good. He caught up with me in another pub, put his hands around my head from the back, and in doing so, poked his finger in my eye. I turned around with a furious rage and just lashed out, and that caused him a very light blow on the side of his head. His glasses flew off, and he actually fell down. I think he was looking for his glasses. Clive later apologises for losing his cool. He says, he'd slagged off my computer, and I took exception to that.
I think we can agree, and everyone at home will be agreeing. We're picturing the lamest fight of all time, aren't we? Two Mensa inventors slugging out, their glasses falling off, being hit with a copy of the FT. This is not Joe Calzaghe or whatever. This is a lame fight.
It was nothing too vigorous. I think he was pretty shamefaced that we soon patched things up and we remained friends.
Okay.
I said, they are marvellous at making programmes and so on, but by God, they should not be making computers any more than they should be making BBC cars or BBC toothpaste. I think he's got a point, but I think if he's going to make that point, you can't go for the tender and then lose it and then say they shouldn't have been doing that. There's a BBC 4 dramatisation of the rivalry between Sir Clive and Christopher Curry. BBC have double-dipped on cash from this. Starring Alexander Armstrong as Clive Sinclair and Martin Freeman as Christopher Curry.
Wow.
Sir Clive says, it was a travesty of the truth. It just had no bearing on the truth. It was terrible. But within years, Sir Clive will be the most famous inventor and businessman in the UK, the Prime Minister's favourite inventor, a symbol of what makes Britain great, and then he will fuck it up royally. And that's the next episode.
I love this guy at this point, by the way.
So do I.
Excited to see what happens next.
That's it for part 1 of the story of Clive Sinclair and the C5. Coming up in part 2, Clive launches the revolutionary Sinclair ZX computer and somehow takes the world by storm with his genius.
Well, it was a new market which was dominated by the Americans, and where clearly, if the cost could be reduced substantially, the market could be expanded. So I set about seeing if there was some way of really bringing the cost down by a major factor, and that's what we achieved, of course.
If you want to hear all of the episodes of this series right here, right now, go to museumofpopculture.supportingcast.fm to join the fan club. Oh, it's the place to be. It really is the ZX Spectrum of 2026. Follow us also on social media. There's plenty of pictures of Sir Clive on there, at Museum of Pop Culture Pod, to see the links and clips of some of the things we discuss in the episodes, as well as being the real home of pop culture nostalgia online.